My name's Candi Cdebaca. I am currently placed at Excelencia in Education. I'm a 2009 new leader, and I am originally from Denver, Colorado. For me, education has always been really important. I grew up in the inner city of Denver, very low income. I actually grew up in a community where most people don't go to college. I had very limited access or knowledge about college or the process. So when I was in school, when I was really young, teachers, mentors always told me how important it was. And like as I got older and I actually did graduate, I realized when I got to college how different my opportunities were from most of my peers in college. And then it became even more clear to me that there were such disparities. My high school was one of the first schools in Denver that was shut down because of low performance on state assessments and low enrollment. And the school was actually shut down right after I had graduated, so about a year or two after I had graduated. I had come back into the community and saw that people were outraged, like we didn't understand why our school was being shut down. And so I got really involved in the effort to keep it open. We created the organization so that we could make youth voice real in school renewals. Was charged with the task of coming up with recommendations for the school board for the reopening of the school because they decided to shut it down. Against the will of the community, they decided to shut it down, but promised that the community would be involved in this renewal process. On that council, there were a very small number of youth, and in the final recommendations to the board, a lot of the youth insights that were shared throughout this very long process were not included in that report. So it's kind of counterintuitive not to ask the consumers, not to ask the students what they want or what they need to make them want to go to school, to make them do better in school. So that's what we started Voice to do. In the early stages, we actually partnered with a researcher from the University of Colorado, and we helped compile a report called Tracing Transitions, and it was basically a report that was done to follow the students who were displaced and track their experiences and basically determine whether or not the dropout rate was increased because of the shutdown. We were actually brought into one of the middle schools in Denver because they had hired various consultants, because they had this interesting phenomenon where half the school was doing really well, like A's and B's, and the other half was failing. There was really no in between. And so they brought us in, and our youth, what our youth do is peer-to-peer. It's called action research, youth action research. So everything is very peer-to-peer. The students ended up saying that they felt disrespected by teachers, and they felt like it wasn't right for teachers to do simple things like eating in front of them in class if they couldn't eat in class. Very little things that impacted the way they felt about school and coming to school and doing well and respecting their teachers. So our youth put together a toolkit for effectively engaging youth. I think that every day I'm inspired by the people who are not where I'm at. Because I think that for me it took a lot of help and a lot of luck to get me where I am. Every day knowing that I have an education, knowing that I have a really strong support network, I think that inspires me, and it inspires me to stay connected to my community, because I think it's really easy to forget where you come from sometimes. And I think a lot of people do that. A lot of people go and leave their communities, and they start out with this thing that feeds them, their community that feeds them, feeds their energy, feeds their passion. And then they go away and they think that they're doing better things, and they forget where they came from, and that motivation or that passion fizzles away. And I think for me, staying connected has really been important.